What are we looking for? Dogs.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Bird, and we back on Bird's Eye View with it. Like always, appreciate the love and support. Please continue to like, comment, and subscribe. Stop what you're doing, smash the like button, smash subscribe button, hop in the comment section, comment whatever you want. Of course, I'm dropping daily bangers day by day. You know, we got news of the day coming out of Colorado. We're gonna jump right into it, dog. So, of course, we back with another recap with this Colorado football program. As always, shout out Well Off Media, Reach the People Media, the pregame show for providing us phenomenal footage each and every day. As we all know, we're bouncing back off of our Week 1 loss against the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Of course, we have Delaware coming into town this week for Week 2. Again, we're expecting a phenomenal turnout without question. Of course, Boulder, you guys showed up and showed out Week 1, and we expect the same Week 2. We do have some recruiting news here. Now, we did have a young man that attended the Georgia Tech game, Maurice Williams. We all know about the 3-star corner, 5'11", $175 out of New Orleans, Louisiana in that 2026 class. Of course, he is already committed to this Colorado football program. We made numerous videos on this young man, the state champion out of the state of Louisiana. Of course, he mentioned about his visit. He said his main takeaways from the visit was how the energy from the fans was top tier. The people of Boulder really had a lot of love for CU football. He said during his visit, he hardly saw or experienced anything different from his official visit. He said the love from the staff was the same and very consistent. He said one message that he received from our coaching staff was that we can't wait for him to get up to Boulder, Colorado. So excited for that young man there. Of course, Georgia Tech, Houston, Ole Miss, UCF, and Washington were among the other programs that offered Williams throughout the course of his recruitment. Again, he is a top 40 overall player coming out of the state of Louisiana. Again, helped that Aetna Car program to a perfect season in 2024 and a state title. And of course, they're looking to have much success this season as well too. They're chasing a national championship. If you don't know about Aetna Car, they're a national power each and every year. We have another young man that's expected to visit this week for the Delaware matchup, Christian Ward. He's a 3-star wide receiver, 6'3", $185 out of the state of Georgia. Played last season at Walton High School there in Marietta, Georgia. Now, he just originally transferred to IMG Academy, so he's going to finish out his senior campaign at IMG. Again, top 80 wide receiver in the country. He's now a top 70 overall player. Coming out of the state of Florida, long strider at wide receiver, man. Huge catch radius, can really go up and get the football. He's definitely a vertical deep threat without question. Uses his hands very well. Also, of course, this young man will be in attendance for the Delaware game. Of course, we all know, wide receivers will continue to flock to this Colorado football program, without question, as we continue to grow and develop wide receivers and continue to send them to the league. So excited for Christian Ward being on campus. Of course, you all know we have that IMG to Boulder pipeline. So, it's going to be interesting to see exactly what it transpired with this young man here. Of course, he does have a long offer list as well too. I mean, he has teams all over the country that are after the services of him. You look at Alabama, Georgia, Georgia Tech, Indiana, LSU, Michigan, Ole Miss, South Carolina, A&M, just to name a few. So there's a ton of schools that want the 6'3" wide receiver now at IMG. Of course, we're looking to close on that young man there. I'm pretty sure he will have a great time, and obviously I will keep you guys updated with his visit once the sound bites come out. Of course, we're still in the running to flip a few other guys as well. There's a bunch of wide receivers, running backs, offensive linemen, defensive linemen that are committed to other schools that we are still in the mix. Of course, you see here the Lafayette Christian Academy 3-star wide receiver Braden Allen. He's committed to Tulane, but he's still showing great interest with this Colorado football program. Of course, the IMG 3-star running back Lakai Tompkins, hope I'm saying his name right. We're continuing to recruit him. All right, he's going to Louisville right now as we stand right now, but we're still there with that young man. It looks like Brian Hamilton, the 3-star wide receiver, he's committed to Pitt, but we still remain in play for the pass catcher. Of course, there is a receiver out of the state of Utah, 3-star Kai Meza, who's been committed to Minnesota since April. Keep your eye out on him. We're still in the battle for Alistair Vallejo, 6'3", 310 out of the state of Texas. He's committed to Michigan, but he's keeping his options open as well. 3-star edge rusher Chris Addison, who's committed to Michigan State. Colorado, we're still in the hunt there. Keep an eye out on us as well for 3-star running back Christopher Talley, who's committed to West Virginia. And then, of course, we're still in the running for a 3-star corner out of St. Francis Academy in Baltimore. Hakim Satterwhite, he's committed to Maryland. And then, obviously, there's a 3-star running back, Jamarcia Plater. He's committed to Wake Forest, but it hasn't stopped him from communicating with our Colorado football program. As you expect, right, it's going to heat up throughout the season. There's going to be some guys that are going to flip. There's going to be some guys that are going to ultimately end up committing to their institutions. Of course, we have National Signing Day in December. So it's going to be fun continuing to track the development of the recruiting process. Of course, we're still waiting to hear from Joseph Pecco on his decision between UNC and Colorado. Obviously, all signs still point to this Colorado football program. Of course, I'm going to keep you guys updated throughout the process all season. Of course, I'll bring you guys more updates, pertaining to the Delaware game as well too. Of course, we got the announcement yesterday. Coach Prime made the announcement that we will see Julian Lewis at some form of fashion in this game. Looks like Salt is still going to make the start. I'm thinking that, best case scenario, Salt goes out there, we light it up. We pretty much run this Delaware team off the field, and then obviously Julian Lewis is able to come in, and of course he's able to finish the game out. If Salt kind of struggles, then I expect Julian Lewis to get in the game earlier. But the fact that we're going to be able to get an opportunity to see Juju is definitely going to be fun without question. I know we all can't wait to see our 5-star superstar true freshman get on the field and light it up without question. We're definitely expecting to have a much better showing. I wasn't too upset really with the Georgia Tech showing. Obviously, there were some things that we still definitely need to work on, and we should have won that game. That's the one thing I'm really the most upset about, is the fact that we really let that game get away. But that Georgia Tech team, that's not a slouch. That's a team that's going to compete for the ACC. They're going to be a top 3 team, 4 team in that conference. I mean, that's going to be a team that's going to win 9-10 games. So that's not a slouch team that we played, without question. They do some things well, and they're going to get some other teams some troubles, without question. But, that's still a game that we should have gotten. And we really let that game slip through. But it is what it is. We're on to the next, right? Got to put that behind us. On to the next. Looking forward to the Delaware matchup this week, getting back into the win column. And then, of course, moving forward to next week as well, too. But not going to keep you long. Just want to bring you guys another phenomenal update. Please continue to like, comment, and subscribe. You know what time it is, dog. Bird's eye view, man.